it's amazing to see fans obviously out there. It's a home field advantage for us.
You are now tuned into Homefield Advantage with your hosts, the GM, Justice General Radford, the Caveman, Michael Lisman. Enjoy.
My bad. Sorry, guys. I was sharing the tweet so people can see the show. I forgot to add us back to the screen. Not used to these 30-second intros yet. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Homefield Advantage. This is your favorite Wednesday show, favorite Hump Day show on the Buffalo FAMbase official network of Bills Mafia. Today, we got a really special guest. It is obviously myself and my main man, Caveman. Caveman Lisman. Oh, and also before we get to our guest, shout out to Caveman. The inaugural show of The Cave aired. It was a Monday. It was a great show. He had me on. I really appreciated it. I had a great time. I thought it was a really well thought out show, and I had an amazing time. And I'm excited to see what he does with it in the future, because he always comes with great content. Just off the rip, like Caveman comes with great content, right? But then like when he sits down and like plans it out and like what I mean, like it just goes the extra level. So really dope concept, really dope show, and I appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate that.
Of course, dude. You did not have to say nothing right now, but I appreciate it. Yeah, it was an absolute blast to have you on the inaugural episode, and I'm definitely hoping it's something that sticks around. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else I got in store. But you were, of course, the best first guest I could have asked for. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, I got you, brother. Tonight we appreciate you, Coach. Good looking out, Coach Boomhauer in the chat. Tonight we got a special guest. We got the host of Let's Talk 716, Mr. Robbie. Robbie had me on his show earlier, and I love talking to Robbie. He's such a cool guy. That I was just like, Robbie, come on, man, you got to come on my show too. And he said yes, and we are fortunate enough to have Robbie with us today. Say hi to the fans, Robbie, excuse me.
Hello.
You want to let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter, Robbie?
You can find me on Twitter at Let's Talk 716.
Absolutely. And Robbie has a great podcast. He has a lot of great guests. And it's really fun to go on this podcast and just to talk with him. We also have another special guest that just popped up behind the scenes. He's come and he's fresh off of another podcast. Super hardworking guy. One of the most infamous people in Bills Mafia.
Wow. What an intro.
Wow.
Host of the Humble and Hungry podcast. He has a ton of content coming soon with he and his wife. I think that's really dope. I need to find the wife first. But he's got it down pat. I'm talking about Mr. Charlie Gross. What's going on, Charlie? Appreciate you coming on, man.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Robbie. Hello, Caveman. Hello, Justice. It's nice to see you, gentlemen. Hello to everybody watching. And yeah, that was some intro there. I'm kind of trying to live that down a little bit, but
you are actually. I think you are a little bit.
Yeah,
I've seen
I'm trying.
People call you an asshole. So.
Well, I take the emotion out of things, man. And a lot of people. I mean, I love the Bills, right? I love them. But so a lot of times when I put out the opinions, I try to take that emotion out, and that's hard for a lot of people, and that's fine. I mean, I get it. I'm not here to tell you not to do that, but so I think that's where the disconnect comes in sometimes. Is I'm just kind of pretending like I live in San Francisco and I'm viewing the Bills from that lens,
Yeah, 100%. Well, hopefully we get less and less people calling you an a-hole every day.
I hope so. I had some really good discussions today on Twitter about analytics and stuff, and I was really surprised. So that was really cool.
Okay. All right. That's Charlie. I see you mingling with the people and being a people person now. All right.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Today on Homefield Advantage, we have the mock draft 1.0 for you guys. Obviously, we're going to have the draft in a couple of weeks here. It's getting down to the days, guys. We are roughly a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I don't have a calendar in front of me.
16 days
away from the draft. So just over 2 weeks away from the draft. And we have no idea what's going to happen. I was just on Robbie's show. We were talking about it earlier. Obviously, with the Buffalo Bills being a good football team, you don't know who is going to be where when it's time for us to pick versus when we're like top 10 picks and we can say conceivably this player would go here, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not too many picks to get to 9 versus 25. So we're going to try our best to see who we think these teams might want on their team. And we're going to do one round of mock draft tonight, guys. So, well, we'll see. I don't want to say this is going to be a short episode because we'll see what happens. But one round because that's the only way we're going to get through this thing, right? So, without further ado, let me go ahead and get this up. We're going to share screen. We are going to be using the Draft Network's draft tonight, guys. We have to select all. All right, we're doing one round. Well, we don't need to speak because we're doing it all. All right, we're going to start our draft. Okay. With the first pick in the NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select for Kuiper. Do you mind throwing up the Kuiper's pick for that, Caveman? For Kuiper's pick, I believe he has Aiden Hutchinson going number 1 overall. Is that correct? Hello? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe he's muted.
Oh, I'm muted. My bad.
Oh, I was so confused.
Mel Kiper hits Aiden Hutchinson going to the Jaguars. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, it's probably the most likely selection, right? I guess just for me personally, I know Kyle Hamilton's supposed to be this generational talent, and I agree with that sentiment. It just, I guess it all depends on how you view the safety position. Do you think it's a cornerstone position on the defense that can really turn, a defense or a franchise around in the right direction? And I guess I kind of do view the safety position in that light a little bit more than the average person. You look at the defensive end or pass rusher position, and that's the first answer for that kind of question. But I think the safety position definitely deserves a little bit more love in that aspect. And I feel like if Kyle Hamilton's actually the truth, like people say he is, I feel like that's a little bit more realistic here than people want to admit.
Okay. All right. So here in this draft, just for the sake of argument, we're going to go, if 3 people all pick the same person, obviously that is going to be our pick. And majority rules. So if it's 2 versus 2, we'll do a coin flip or something like that, or whatever the case may be. All right. So we got Kyle Hamilton going to Jacksonville Jaguars. Charlie, what you thinking, bro?
I mean, I guess I feel like Hamilton to me, I think is number 1 on a lot of, draft analyst boards. The question obviously comes into how does the NFL value that positional value, right? Like they've always kind of been taking safeties lower in the draft. And I know there's some people in Jacksonville who aren't that thrilled with the Aiden Hutchinson pick. If that is the pick, that they'd rather have something else. But I think predictively speaking, I think they probably are going to take Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what they're going to do. So that would be my pick.
All right. And Robbie, so do you think it's going to be a safety or a defensive end? What are you thinking?
I would say maybe like a defense.
All right, cool. So, I agree with Caveman. I think if it was me, I would take Kyle Hamilton. But since we are doing the mock draft and we're doing what we think might happen, Everyone is saying Aiden Hutchinson, so they're probably smarter than me. So we're gonna go with Aiden Hutchinson. And the Detroit Lions are next on the board. Team needs include quarterback, edge, safety, wide receiver, linebacker, corner. They got a lot of needs. Okay, so Charlie, what's going on? What should Detroit do here?
I mean, Malik Willis is getting a lot of love from a lot of people, and I know, like Mel's one of those guys, like the big time guys, like Mel and Daniel Jeremiah and Dane Brugler. Like they talk to guys in the league, like the guys at Draft Network do too. They get calls from guys in the league, and they're like, well, we're hearing the Jets really love whoever you might want to, so normally the closer you get to the draft, the more accurate a Mel Kiper mock is in terms of what the league is going to do. But like I said, I've been hearing a lot of talk about Malik Willis and that they love Malik Willis. And man, I mean, he's got some of the Josh Allen in him with like the mobility, not the size, like he's smaller. But I mean, if you take him and you let him sit behind Goff for a year, I mean, the Lions are probably thinking, hey, we're not going to be this high again. We don't want to trade up next year. So, you know what? I'm going to say they should take Malik Willis.
We got a quarterback off the board at 2.
That's right.
In what is perceived to be the worst quarterback draft since EJ Manuel. So interesting pick. Caveman, what you thinking here?
It definitely is a tough choice that the Lions have here. I mean, obviously their glaring need is a quarterback, right? I mean, you're going to have Jared Goff for at most 1 or 2 more years. It's just a matter of, if you go with Malik Willis here, like Charlie said, I don't think you throw Malik Willis to the dogs in his first year. You let Jared Goff play out his contract, and he's going to eat up enough money already. You might as well have him on the field. But I don't know. I feel like that's almost running a little bit of a risk. Of course, the Lions are going to go into the season, thinking confidently that they're not going to be this high up in the draft once again. But I think there's got to be someone realistic in that building. I don't know what next year's draft class looks like as far as in terms of quarterbacks, but it's got to be better than this, right? And the quarterbacks, the draft picks next year, I would assume it's going to be in a similar fashion. The Jaguars are going to be up there. The Jets are going to be up there. The Lions probably will be up there, at least in the top 10. So they might not have a top 3 pick like they do here. So it makes me think that, somebody's got to be thinking like, we'll have another shot at this quarterback thing next year. So with that being said, oh boy, I guess I'll probably have them. I don't see Kyle Hamilton falling that far. I just don't. I mean, his talent is just too off the charts for me to think he's going to fall. So I'm going to take Kyle Hamilton here, honestly.
All right, we got Kyle Hamilton again. Robbie, quarterback or safety for the Detroit Lions?
I think they would go with the quarterback.
All right, we're going Malik Willis to the Detroit Lions. And that leaves us with the Houston Texans at number 3. Edge, cornerback, safety, offensive tackle, running back. Quarterback is way that far down. That interesting. K-Man, what do the Texans do here?
I'm gonna say, I think the Texans are definitely gonna be launching for an edge rusher here. Whether or not you think Kayvon is the guy, whether you want to go with Ekwonu. Whichever one you really want to choose, honestly, or not Ekwonu, I'm sorry, Trayvon Walker.
Okay.
I'm probably going to say Kayvon. I think they go with Thibodeau at number 3. I think the Texans are definitely going to be in need of an edge rusher here. And with Kyle Hamilton off the board, there's really no other positional or player type value that kind of turns their franchise in the right direction, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So I'm going to go with Kayvon.
Okay. I'm actually also going to go with Kayvon Thibodeau. Charlie, who you got?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's maybe they need a lot of stuff, right? I just think that's probably the direction that they go.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got Kayvon Thibodeau going 3rd to the Houston Texans. K-Man, do you mind letting us know who Mel Kiper picked for picks 2 and 3?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
No, you're good, man.
The Texans got Kuiper's got Trayvon Walker on the Texans, so I think it's either going to be Walker or Thibodeau. It just depends on who's going to be there.
Who went to?
Oh, that was Sauce Gardner. He had Sauce Gardner.
Ooh,
I think Kyle Hamilton goes before Sauce Gardner, right? I think that's a little bit crazy.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that, they value corners so much, It's just like it's going to be weird because Hamilton is like he's number one on a lot of people's boards, and I think safety is look at the contracts, right? Like the average contract went from like on the high end like 13 or 12 to now it's like 17, 18, which is part of the Jordan Poyer issue. Obviously is he's seen all these guys get paid. So it'll be interesting to see if that changes, like, right? Like a guy like the Giants, right? Like Wink Martindale. Does he want a guy like that, at 5 or 7 for his defense?
Absolutely. All right. At number 4, we have the New York Jets on the board. We're going to do the top 5 together, and then we're going to each pick, the next player that we think should be drafted and go in snake order that way. Jets, Evan Neal's still on the board. They need offensive line help. There's a couple offensive linemen still left in the top 8. They need edge help. There is 2 edges in the top 10. Safety, obviously, some people think is the best safety and the best player in the draft. Safety is still available. Charlie, what are you thinking the Jets do here?
Yeah, they're another team that they have 2 picks, obviously in the top 10. They need a lot of stuff. I know they've tried to do a pretty good job of trying to build around Zach Wilson a little bit, but at the same time, they definitely need pass rushers. They need corners. They need safeties. To run Salah's defense. So I think it's going to be fascinating what they choose to get. And obviously, part of the strategy for them is what don't we think will be there at our second pick, right? Like, is there a position that isn't as deep as another one? And so we're going to do this. We'll do that. I think they need to go offensive line, and I'll say I would pick Iquanu for him at this point.
All right, so we got. I'm not even going to try. I don't want to.
Ikem Iquanu.
Ikem Iquanu. All right, thank you. All right, K man, what do you think the Jets need here?
Oh man, like Charlie said, it's kind of tough. With teams like this, they need so much, and unlike how I felt with the previous 3 selections, where I feel like Kyle Hamilton should have been going, I view the Jets as a team that their offensive line wasn't great last year, but it wasn't bottom of the barrel like you probably would expect just hearing the New York Jets name. You're thinking everything is Jets associated is going to be 32 out of 32, but their offensive line actually wasn't atrocious. Up front in front of Zach Wilson. So I do think they probably could get another year, get away with it. Not another year, another pick here, and actually go with Trayvon Walker. I think they do need an edge rusher that changes the game. Like Charlie said, Salah's going to need to run that defense eventually, and they need the pieces to do so. So I think Trayvon Walker's a good pick here.
All right, so we got 2 edges. All right, we got Trayvon Walker, and we got a edge rusher and we got an offensive tackle, Iquanu versus Walker. Who do you think? What do you think the Jets are going to do, Robbie? Do you think they're going to go offensive line or defensive line?
For the first pick, I think they're going to go with the offense.
Offensive line. All right, so we got Ikem Iquanu. All right. The draft is not liking Caveman.
Caveman's gonna get his chance though. He's gonna.
I'm gonna go off the wall when it's my opportunity.
All right, the last group pick we're gonna do tonight is for the New York Giants. The New York Football Giants are pick number 5, and they have team needs of a offensive lineman, edge rusher, safety, inside lineman. Is a quarterback sneaking over there a little bit. So we'll see what happens there. Caveman, what are you thinking that the Giants should do here?
If the Giants go with anything that's not an offensive lineman with either 5 or 7, because they have the 7th pick, I do believe as well, then they're mistakenly stupid. But I think Joe Shane definitely knows what's going on, and he's going to see Evan. I mean, in this particular instance, if Evan Neal's on the board, then I think that's the easiest target for Joe Shane. So I do think Evan Neal's my choice here for the Giants.
Evan Neal's K-Man choice. Before we go to Charlie, K-Man, can you give us what was Kuiper's pick for pick number 4?
I'm doing a bad job at this. Where is it? Oh, he had Thibodeau going to the Jets.
Thibodeau going to the Jets. Okay. All right. So we're not too far off. All right, Charlie. What are the Giants about to do here, man?
Well, we should be able to figure this one out, right? Because we got Joe Shane, Brian Dable, like they were, at least certainly maybe more so Shane, like they built the Bills, right? Like, so, right. It's funny. Today I saw this thing where someone was getting all mad because no one was projecting like a quarterback to the Giants. And I'm like, guys, like he's going to fire all the scouts after the draft, bring in his own scouts, just like Brandon Beane did. And then they're going to spend an entire year, just like Brandon Beane did, like figuring out the quarterback. So like right now they're trying to figure out what they have with Daniel Jones. They're going to try and isolate the variable, like just like they did with Josh Allen. And going forward, if Daniel Jones isn't the guy, of course they're going to try and draft a guy next year. So of course you want an offensive lineman, right? Evan Neal, I think this is pretty obvious that certainly one of the first 2 picks will be an offensive lineman for them.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like we're going to go with Evan Neal here for the New York Giants. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers with the number 6 pick in the NFL draft. The first pick is going to be picked by your host, Mr. Mike Lisman, the Caveman. So, Mike, what are the Panthers doing here with this pick?
The Panthers are in a tough spot. They're probably, out of, of course, even after the quarterback carousel, they're still without a quarterback. What do they do? I don't know. I think they're going to stick one more year with Sam Darnold and, give him one more opportunity. And with that in mind, I do think, if what's his face? Is he still on the board here? Icahn went to the Jets. How did I miss that? Anyway, since Icahn's gone, I guess that completely changes my mind. So I'm gonna have to say Trayvon Ahmed. Is Cross a reach here? No. I'm gonna have him go with Charles Cross. I think, like Charlie said, I like that terminology, isolate the variable. And they're gonna have to do so with Sam Darnold to see if they really have it. He has what it takes.
All right, so the Panthers choose to protect their quarterback for this year, and then obviously have some protection for their quarterback, whoever they pick in next year's draft, which I'm assuming is what will happen. And Caveman goes with the number 6 pick, Charles Cross, to the Panthers. What was Kuiper's pick for pick number 6?
That was the Icahn Ekwonu. For the Panthers was Malik Willis.
Oh, so they're okay. But we have Malik Willis gone, number 2 pick of the draft. All right, Robbie, Giants here. Okay, we got these players over here. A lot of good players. It looks like the Giants need an edge rusher, a safety, a linebacker. Or I'm sorry, a lineman. What position do you think the Giants are going here with their 2nd pick in the draft?
I think they would go with maybe the rusher.
Trayvon Walker right here?
Yeah.
Boom. With the 7th pick in the NFL draft, the New York Giants select Trayvon Walker, edge out of Georgia, from yours truly, Robbie. All right, pick number 8. Kuiper's pick for the Giants.
That was the Jermaine Johnson, defensive end of Florida State.
Okay. So same position. So all right. Robbie looked like he catching up to Mel Kiper a little bit. Mel Kiper better watch your back, bro. All right. Atlanta Falcons, pick number 8. They have a lot of team needs, if not everything. Charlie, you make some sense out of this and let us know who the Falcons will be picking in their first of many.
Yeah, I'm going to try. First of all, I'd like to say that I have no idea what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. Nothing they do makes any sense at all. I think they're the worst team in the league. I think they're currently the worst run franchise in the league. I think that they're far and away the favorites to be number 1 overall next year, which would allow them to select a quarterback next year. However, these are the Atlanta Falcons. And even though there are some good players like Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner on the board, Jermaine Johnson, I think that the Atlanta Falcons are so not well run that they're going to take Kenny Pickett.
Ooh.
Instead of just
The
waiting
Atlanta
next year for like a
Falcons.
better quarterback.
The Falcons make what could be the worst pick that they've made. let me not. All right, I don't know. Kenny Pickett might be good. Let me not hate. All right. With the 8th pick in the NFL draft, Charlie, the GM, has picked Kenny Pickett for the Atlanta Falcons. And what was Kuiper's pick, K-Man?
That was Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State, is gone in Mel Kiper's big board. Pick number 9, I believe that is on me. All right, we got the Seattle Seahawks, and they have some team needs here. If I'm looking and I'm Seattle Seahawks, I'm saying, how on God's green earth is Kyle Hamilton, Ahmad Gardner, some of these guys, Derek Stingley Jr., how are these guys still here? And I'm a little bit overwhelmed because it's like, oh, wow, which one do I want? And I have to pick of the litter. And having the pick of the litter, if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to say I'm taking Sauce Gardner off the board. Need my corner. Cornerback from Cincinnati. A lot of great players out of Cincinnati in this draft. And their best corner just went to the Seattle Seahawks.
And look how this sets up for Caveman.
Literally. Pick number 10. We got the New York Giants with their second pick of the draft. Oh, wait. What was the Seattle Seahawks pick for Kuiper?
That was, why can't I keep my track here? They took Evan Neal, who is already
Evan
gone.
Neal is already gone on our big board. All right, no problem. All right, New York Jets, Caveman, GM. Who are they picking with the second pick in the draft? They already got offensive tackle Ikem Ekwonu.
Well, now it's like Jermaine's good, but like you're staring at Kyle Hamilton at 10 instead of wherever. What were they, 4? I mean, it's kind of like you saw how Jamal Adams impacted that franchise early on. I think I'm not comparing Kyle Hamilton to Jamal Adams by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think Robert Saleh could use a director back there, and I think Kyle Hamilton would really be beneficial to a young defense. So I think Kyle Hamilton would be the pick here. Personally.
Kyle Hamilton comes off the board at the tail end of the top 10. Now, Washington football team is on the board. Robbie, wide receiver, cornerback, lineman. What do you think the Washington football team wants to do with their pick at pick 11?
I think that the Washington team will take a wide receiver.
Wide receiver, Drake London or Garrett Wilson?
Wilson.
All right. So we have the Washington Commanders, not football team. My apologies. Are going with Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He is the first wide receiver taken at pick 11. Pick number 12. The Minnesota Vikings are up and they need some stuff as well. They need safety, defensive lineman, corner, wide receiver. Charlie, make some sense out of this, man. What are they going to do?
Man, I'm just getting all the teams today, man. Another team that I really have no idea what they're doing. They brought in this GM who's an analytics guy. For some reason, they decided it would be a good idea to extend Kirk Cousins and then sign all their old guys back. They're sort of, I don't know. The owners, I think, have stepped on the feet of the new GM, unfortunately, and want to sell some tickets. So, to that end, if we know anything about the Minnesota Vikings, it's that they love them some cornerbacks. They're always drafting cornerbacks in the first round. Derek Stingley Jr., LSU cornerback, one of the best freshman years ever in the history of college football. So, I mean, it makes sense too. They got Pat Peterson back for like a year, but then he's probably gonna be gone. So,
real quick before we move on to my pick, I think it is Derek Stingley Jr. As you mentioned, he had one of the best years, period, of any cornerback ever in college football as a freshman, and kind of hasn't showed that same potential or promise to at least to that degree. Right. In his ensuing years in college. Does that give you a red flag at all?
Well, I would say, and I'm to be, honest, I haven't watched every game he's played. I've watched a couple. And I would say that's the national championship team, and defense I think is pretty symbiotic. And if you look at all the guys who left, both on defense and on offense, like Jamar Chase sat out the next year. Burrow was obviously drafted. Like, if you really look at their list, they lost like everybody. He was injured, and I've heard rumblings that there was some just sort of other stuff going on, and that's not with him in particular, but kind of with the background workings of the program. I don't really know. That's all I really know. So, I mean, I would say that no. And I think his athletic testing at his pro day, well, I'm not the athletic testing guy, I think it showed people that he's healthy again. And it showed them that he still has that explosiveness and he still is that athlete. And then obviously it's on the teams. Like, we can't take him out to dinner, right? Like, but the teams will, and they'll figure it out. And so I'm fine with it, given that those are sort of the circumstances. As much as I can know as an outsider, I'm fine with it.
All right, fair enough. All right, my pick up here at 13 for the Houston Texans. What they need is not necessarily on the board right now. They do need a corner. I do feel like Andrew Booth would be a reach here, so I'm not going that direction. No safeties that I feel comfortable taking up this high either. And if your next position that you need, I think they're kind of in a similar position as who was that? The Carolina Panthers. You don't necessarily have your quarterback right now, at least you don't think. So you get your lineman this year, let him play, let him develop, let him get better, and then he'll be able to block that much better for your rookie quarterback next year when you need him. I'm going Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa, offensive tackle, and I think that is the pick for the Houston Texans. Next up, we have at pick 14, the Baltimore Ravens. Caveman, take it away.
The Baltimore Ravens, this team suffered, I think, probably the worst of the injury bug last year between the Ravens and I think the Browns suffered pretty bad as well. They got hit hard, and I do think this coming season they are going to be, one of the sleeper teams going to the AFC, just depending on how much talent, actually pulls through going into 2022. But I do think that you probably have to go with Jermaine Johnson. He's probably not supposed to be here, probably won't be here, to be quite honest, when it comes to the, real draft. So, with the loss of, guys that they lost from 2021 or 2020, I'm sorry, going into 2021, I do think Jermaine Johnson's definitely back here for them.
All right, so we're going edge. Jermaine Johnson, the 10th rated player on the Draft Network's predictive big board, and he's going at pick 14 to the Baltimore Ravens. Eagles, first pick in 3 picks is coming up. Robbie, do you think the Eagles are taking an edge, a corner, wide receiver? What do you think they're doing here?
I think they would go with a cornerback.
Okay. What are you thinking here? Andrew Booth Jr., Trent McDuffie?
I think they would go with Trent.
Hey, all right. So we got the Washington cornerback, Trent McDuffie, who I've actually heard from a lot of people who know what they're talking about is the best corner in this draft. So we'll see what happens. Some people don't see him that way. Some people do. So we'll see how he works out for the Philadelphia Eagles. Trent McDuffie is gone off the board at number 15. Next up, we got Charlie, I believe, is next up, right? Charlie's next with the New Orleans Saints.
Man, see, I'm getting all the teams, man. The Saints are another team that, I don't think they ever want to sort of take a step back. I think they're looking at the NFC this year and they're saying, hey, why not us? It's pretty weak. Maybe we, sneak in on 6 or 7 on the playoffs. And I think the trade up wasn't really for a quarterback. I think it's just to get better players, to kind of try to keep this playoff streak alive. And to that end, the one thing that they never seemed to be able to do was get a guy to go alongside Michael Thomas. Jameson Williams, my friends. Jameson Williams, I know that he's going to be out for a couple weeks because he has a torn Achilles, right, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
But I think he fits what their offense used to do well before Drew Brees became like a senior citizen. And before, and it fits what Jameson Williams wants to do, So it's one of those things where he can throw the ball super far downfield and still get intercepted and be like, I was just shooting for Jameis.
So they definitely don't have Drew Brees on that roster anymore. Maybe Jameson Williams will be able to help out Jameis, and their names are similar. So with Jameson Williams, Jameis Winston, we'll see what happens. I hope not. I hope that Jameson Williams falls in the draft, but we'll see. There's been a lot more people kind of projecting that he'll go at a earlier pick, so that kind of lines up with around where he's picked in a lot of mock drafts. So number 17, that is me, I believe. I think the Chargers are going to go with the inside defensive lineman right here, and to be honest, I think Devontae Wyatt is probably the guy who I think they would go with here. I think that they have a very athletic defensive line, and I think he would contribute to that greatly. I think that they would choose him over Jordan Davis personally, and I think that this is the guy that on this board here, I think this is the guy that they go with at this point in the draft. Interior defensive lineman out of Georgia, Devontae Wyatt. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles making their second pick at pick 18. K-Man, talk to us.
I think the Eagles are just going to keep firing away at wide receiver until they finally hit the dartboard, right? I mean, it's actually rather impressive how much they've missed drafting wide receivers in the first round. But I think, can you go to the wide receiver tab for me?
Absolutely, bro.
Exactly to the left. Shit. Like you, Justice, I'm not like a big Drake London guy. Shit. I think I would probably go with. I think I'd go with Olave. I like Olave a lot. I think if if we're going to reach here and it's not London, I think Olave is going to be the guy over Dotson, in my opinion.
Chris Olave seems like an Eagles type of guy to me. So I could totally see that happening. We've seen a lot crazier things happen. We see a Cleveland Farrell get picked at like some 4 or some craziness. I forgot what happened. But we've seen crazier things happen. So we got Chris Olave off the board at 18 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints. This is their second pick of the first round as well. Robbie, do you think the Saints are going with an offensive lineman, a quarterback, or a safety?
I think they would go maybe with a quarterback.
Quarterback. All right. The next best quarterback we have here is Desmond Ridder. Is that the guy you think the New Orleans Saints should pick?
I think they would go with Desmond at 19.
Desmond Ridder. Quarterback out of Cincinnati. A lot of great Cincinnati players coming in this year's draft. Obviously, they had an unreal season, and now their quarterback is off the board at 19. Charlie Gross, you are picking the first pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think this is a team that certainly I think might make the playoffs this year. I think the AFC North is going to be another one of those brutal divisions, just like the AFC West, that kind of beats up on each other. And I know a lot of people think, oh, well, they need to take a quarterback. I think they're going to ride with Mitch and see what happens and maybe figure it out next year. You know how they are. They never finish below 500, it seems like, ever. They do a really good job of kind of rebuilding on the fly, right? Like they just kind of. So looking at the board we got here, I feel like there's, they did lose Juju, but I think there's really just one sort of need that based on how they want to use Najee and, with Mitch, I think it's pretty obvious that their biggest need is the offensive line. So I am going to break my own heart and then draft for them Zion Johnson.
Zion Johnson out of Boston College. You know what's funny? I did a mock draft and Zion Johnson was still on the board. And I was like, you know what? I'll take Zion Johnson. And like all of Bills Mafia roasted me. Like, well, Zion Johnson doesn't fit our scheme. He isn't our type of. I was like,
really?
Okay, relax. So, like, yeah,
wow.
That's what a lot of people feel. So,
huh.
I don't know. I guess people like what they like. Is it me already? All right. Patriots. All right, time to completely sabotage these bums. No, I'm just playing.
Who is his player 250 on the big board?
Exactly. Well, we know Bill Belichick is god awful at drafting. We look at the team needs. There are no cornerbacks up here until Kyer Elam, pick 29. Linebackers, we got Devin Lloyd. Safeties, no safeties of mention of. I don't think they're going to go wide receiver here. Well, actually, you know what? I think they might go wide receiver here. And I think that the Patriots are going to go with Drake London.
I was really hoping. I don't know if the way that things panned out that I would have 25, but if I did, if I had control of the Bills pick, and he was there, I probably would have taken him.
You would have took Drake London?
Just to piss you off.
Oh, no, man. Yeah, I'm glad I got him off the board then, because this whole thing would have been a wash.
If I would have said Drake London to the Bills, your jaw would have dropped.
For real. All right, pick number 22. That it goes to Caveman. Their first pick of the draft. What do you think they're going to do?
Well, you gotta think they're another team that needs a wide receiver. You get rid of Devonta Adams. Your starting wide receiver right now is Alan Lazard. So you'd really like to think that a wide receiver is on their radar as of right now. And I think Jahan Dotson is the best guy available. And with that being said, it should be easy. Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of out of Penn State, is off the board at pick 22. Robbie, Arizona Cardinals, it's their first pick. Do you think they're going cornerback, defensive end, or wide receiver?
I think they would go with the wide receiver.
Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
All right, and GM Robbie has the Arizona Cardinals picking wide receiver Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, a Deebo Samuel comp. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up, we have Charlie Gross is picking for the Dallas Cowboys. I did not set this up for me to pick for the Bills, by the way, guys. I just want to let you guys know that. Charlie Gross, Dallas Cowboys. What you thinking?
Man. I'm gonna put on my Jerry Jones hat right now and figure this out. Let's see. I think that their problem there's two problems that they've had recently. One of them is coaching, which we unfortunately can't do anything about here. And the other one is their defense hasn't been that fantastic. I think they need help for Micah Parsons. So we're gonna go with George Karlaftis, edge rusher from Purdue.
George Karlaftis, because I just heard Charlie say it, and now I know how to say his name. From Purdue, edge rusher is now off the board at 24, going to the Dallas Cowboys. Dun, 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 dun! Finally, we have the Buffalo Bills at pick number 25. Team needs, so they say, cornerback, wide receiver, running back. Obviously, the Bills don't need very much. This is a very interesting spot. I do want to bring in the Unimind, the brain trust. Okay, so we're gonna all do this pick together again, as we did with the top 5 picks. All right, so we're gonna get Caveman's opinion first. What you thinking that the Buffalo Bills should do here, Caveman?
What are you thinking that I'm thinking, Justice?
I got an idea, but
there's one dude I see on the board that I like. That's not supposed to be there, but he's there.
Me too.
Hey, he's a corner. I like the corner here. It's Andrew.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
All right, Charlie, who we going?
Man, I think that there's really 3 names here who the Bills would be like super satisfied with if
These
they
top 3 people aren't it, isn't it?
If they know, bro. I was so angry. Like I was like,
oh wait, you don't want Jordan Davis. You think he's lazy?
Yeah, I was physically angry when they drafted Josh Allen, and I would be so physically angry if they drafted Jordan Davis. He's come out and said that he can't control his weight. He hates vegetables. He loves desserts. He came back to school to do all this stuff, and he gained weight while he was at school instead of losing it. He doesn't have any interest in playing 3 downs. He only considers himself a 2-down player. Why do we want that guy? I don't understand. And I understand that he's super athletic, but then doesn't that make all the stuff that he can't control even worse? And there's no guarantee that when he comes into the building that, the magic fairy dust of working out is going to just make him this different person just because when he comes to Orchard Park. So, yeah, I don't like Jordan Davis. The 3 names are Andrew Booth Jr., I think Kenyon Green, and a guy who I've been pretty late on, but courtesy of Joe Marino, Daxton Hill apparently is this sort of guy who can play outside corner. He can play slot. He can play in the box. He can play deep safety.
He run like a 4-3 or something like that.
Yeah, he's this guy who can kind of play every position in the secondary at a very high level. So the Buffalo Bills love versatility. I think those are the 3 names that they would be happy to see. I think for me, man, offensive guard, you can get those guys in the 2nd or 3rd or the 4th round. It's a pretty deep class this year. The Bills only pick premium positions in the 1st round. They don't pick, those other positions. So for me, it's between Booth, it's between Hill. I don't know how they value Daxton Hill's versatility, so I'm going to say Andrew Booth Jr.
All right, so we pretty much got a sweep there. We're going Andrew Booth Jr. here with the number 25th pick. Honestly, I was kind of looking at Daxton Hill and if Booth Jr. is not here on this board right now, honestly, I would go with Daxton Hill. So,
for sure.
If Booth isn't there, it's 100. I think it's 100% Daxton Hill.
Yeah. Absolutely. And to be fair, I would not be mad at a Jordan Davis pick only because the Bills run a rotation anyway, and they kind of want to keep guys fresh, and that's just how they do things. So I think that they would be able to get the most out of Jordan Davis, and not only that, but
If anyone
I think
could,
it's
it
a
would be like the
different
Bills or the
right.
you know, like a
Exactly.
team with a really good culture. You know, I'm just saying there's no guarantee. We
Yeah.
can't
Red
predict the
flags.
future, you know.
Absolutely, 100%, totally agree. Pick number 26. It was my pick. So, well, we did all picks. So I'll go ahead and take this one. The Tennessee Titans are going with oh boy. Do not want to give them Devin Lloyd, but honestly, that's probably the best pick for them right now. Tennessee Titans are going to go ahead and draft Devin Lloyd with the 26th overall pick. Next up, we got Caveman picking for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What you thinking, bro?
Oh boy, I mean, like Jordan Davis is staring me in the face, but it's like such not a need for this team. Like that would be kind of dumb. I'm gonna say, I think the Bucs. I mean, the secondary for the Bucs is just miserable. I get they dealt with a lot of injuries last year, but I still feel like it's young and it could use some help. And it really relies the secondary success for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is very reliant on the pass rush being ferocious. And is that a guarantee? I'd say they have one of the better pass rushes in the NFL, but I think they could use some help back there. So I do think that Daxton Hill here would be very helpful for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, no Kyer Elam. They're going to go straight to safety and get Daxton Hill to sit back there with Antoine Winfield Jr. That'd be a hell of a secondary. All right, Robbie, the Green Bay Packers, they picked their wide receiver already, right? Now they need a pass rusher or a offensive. So they need either a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman. What do you think they're going to do, Robbie?
I think they would go with the offensive line.
Offensive lineman. Do we like Tyler Lindenbaum to the Green Bay Packers, Robbie?
I think it would be Green.
Kenyon Green to the Green Bay Packers per GM Robbie. That leaves the Kansas City Chiefs up with their first of two back-to-back picks here at 29. This pick goes to Charlie Gross.
Yeah. How are we going to screw these guys? Let's see.
They screwed themselves by trading Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so they need a wide receiver who's really fast. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's where I'm headed.
Give him Calvin Austin here.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's super fast. It's too bad he's only 5'7". Okay. I'll say that they could use defensive help here. I think that their secondary, I think their defense just needs help. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to go, it's either Elam or Mafe. Let's go Boye Mafe, edge from Minnesota.
Oh, we got an edge coming off the board. The second round value per the big board for the Draft Network has come off the board with Boye Mafe, edge rusher out of Minnesota, going to the Kansas City Chiefs at pick number 29. Pick number 30. Okay, man, let us have it.
Oh boy. I almost feel like the Chiefs are in a spot where, a wide receiver would be great, but I also think at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is good enough to make the guys around him, look a lot better than they are. Similar to, how Josh Allen does with the Buffalo Bills wide receivers. And they still have Travis Kelce at the end of the day. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's not bad, despite all the hate he gets, including from people like myself. And then MVS is all right. You good up there?
Just, every time I hear that Juju is the number one receiver, I get a little chuckle. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they definitely could go in a different direction, truthfully. So, oh boy, I think they could use. I don't want to give them more secondary help. That would be kind of stupid. I mean, how is Jordan Davis still here? Give him Jordan Davis. I feel like it's a best player available type of thing.
All right, so we got Jordan Davis, the inside interior defensive lineman, the freak athlete, running a sub-5 at 40, at like 370 pounds or something crazy ridiculous. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and they need some offensive line help. Robbie, what do you think the Cincinnati Bengals doing here? You think they're going to go offensive lineman or corner?
I think they would go with the offensive line.
All right, so you think they're going to go Tyler Linderbaum here? Linderbaum?
Yeah.
Tyler Linderbaum out of Iowa is headed to Cincinnati to play with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Next up, and finally, we have the last pick of the draft. The Detroit Lions are coming up with their second pick of the NFL draft. What are we doing here? Whose pick is it? I'm pretty sure it's Charlie's pick, right?
Okay, let's see. Well, we got them the quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Malik Willis.
Again, they obviously need a lot of stuff. I could kind of see Elam, but they drafted a corner a few years ago. You know what? I'm gonna have them take a little bit of a risk. I'm gonna have them get a guy who played his college football in the same state where he would now play his professional football after he recovers from an injury. That is David Ojabo, edge from Michigan.
David Ojabo, edge from Michigan, is the final pick of the first round draft. All right, guys. So we've got our draft here. We've got Aiden Hutchinson, number 1, Malik Willis to the Lions, Kayvon Thibodeau to the Texans, Ika Kwanwe to the Jets, Evan Neal to the Giants, Charles Cross, kind of sounds like Charlie Gross a little bit, to the Panthers, Trayvon Walker to the Giants, Kenny Pickett to the Falcons. They get their new quarterback. Seattle Seahawks bolster up their defense with Ahmad Gardner. The Jets take another top 10 safety with Kyle Hamilton. Garrett Wilson goes to the Washington Commanders with Carson Wentz. Derek Stingley Jr. is now a Minnesota Viking. Trevor Penning heads to Houston. Jermaine Johnson is going to be a pass rusher for the Baltimore Ravens. That sounds petrifying. Trent McDuffie, a surprise pick, is going at 15 to the Eagles. They definitely need secondary help over there. The Saints take Jamison Williams and Desmond Ridder. They get the wide receiver and quarterback in the same draft this year. Chris Olave heads to the Eagles. Devontae Wyatt heads to the Chargers. Zion Johnson, inside offensive lineman, is going to Pittsburgh. We got Drake London, that jump ball specialist, going to New England. Jahan Dotson, the Packers get their number 1 receiver to replace Devontae Adams. Treylon Burks is going to the Arizona Cardinals to be another weapon for Kyler Murray. George Karlaftis.
Yes.
Karlaftis, thank you. All right, edge rusher out of Purdue is going to Dallas. Andrew Booth Jr. is sitting at the board, so he coming to Buffalo. Devin Lloyd to the Titans. Daxton Hill to the Buccaneers. I don't like that either. Kenyon Green to the Packers. Boye Mafe and Jordan Davis to the Chiefs. Tyler Linderbaum to the Bengals. And last but not least, David Ojabo to the Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our mock draft. All right, so give us a like if you thought the mock draft was dope. If you agree with us, let us know who you think probably wouldn't go where we said and where they would go. Let us know in the comment section. But that is the end of my draft. We're going to go ahead and get into final thoughts for the night. All right, let's go ahead and start with Charlie. So, guys, this is an NFL show, right? This isn't necessarily a Buffalo Bills show, which is why we did a full round mock draft for the entire NFL. So you give us final thoughts about whatever you want to talk about. Doesn't even have to be football related, just whatever you want to talk about. Charlie, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
Well, I'm just going to say that I love the NFL draft. I actually love it more than the games, which I know sounds a little weird. A little weird to people.
Exciting, man.
But that's okay. I love team building. I do want to say real quickly, because I have not addressed it on my podcast or anything. I don't mean to bring anybody down, but I do want to say my thoughts are with Dwayne Haskins' family for that tragedy. And shout out to the people on Twitter who I had a nice conversation with about analytics with. They know who they are, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have been killing it over here at your new spot, so I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate you as well, especially stepping in, late notice and coming in and doing this mock draft with us, especially coming off of doing another podcast. Charlie is working hard out here, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you go follow him at TTP Charlie. This guy has so much going on, man. Like, man, he has a channel starting with his wife. They're going to do movie reactions. He owns his own analytics company. He's created his own system of rating, NFL football players, and man, Charlie is out here, doing a lot and great things. Did you have something else to say, Charlie? Is that you put your hands up?
Oh no, I was just pointing to the trust the process analytics thing there in my background.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and check him out. Support those guys over at 12 Square doing really great things. Robbie, thank you so much for joining us tonight, bro. You did amazing for your first mock draft. That was pretty awesome having you on the show tonight, man. Do you have any final thoughts for tonight? Anything you just want to tell the people?
They can watch my latest episode with Izzy over on YouTube at Let's Talk 716 Sports. And I am partnered with at our Productions, which is Ranting Ron, and go Bill.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Robbie. That was really cool having you guys. Please make sure you guys go tune into Let's Talk 716, and shout out to Ranting Ron, my guy. Last but not least, Mr. Mike Caveman Lisman, bro. You got final thoughts for us tonight, man?
I just was gonna, kind of preach to the choir like Charlie and Robbie. Thank you guys for hopping on. Charlie, you brought new terminology to me tonight, Charlie. The isolate. What was it? Isolate the variable. I like that a lot. I'm gonna start saying that a lot. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for hopping on. Robbie, it was awesome to have you on doing your first mock draft. It was sweet. So thank you guys for hopping on, and Justice, I'll pass it off to you.
All right, yeah. Well, again, Caveman said it all. We really want to take the time to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for watching and listening and supporting. You guys know the motto: every single like, retweet, share, comment, favorite, all of it. We appreciate every single last iota of support over here. And this has been Homefield Advantage. We're your hosts, Justice and Mike. You can find me on Twitter, Justice General, really all platforms, Justice General. Please follow him at Lizman. I think I got 3 E's, 3 N's, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 N's. Follow him at Lizman, 3 N's, and go check out The Caveman on YouTube, because I told you guys he just dropped a new show called The Cave. Already one of my favorite shows, so please go check that out. And check out Justice for All next week. We're gonna have NFL linebacker Tyrell Dodson, as well as Buffalo FAMbase editor-in-chief, Miss Robin Mundy. I love Miss Robin, my auntie Robin. So we're going to have both of those guys on my podcast, Tyrell Dawson and auntie Robin. And I'm super excited for that. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is Homefield Advantage. This is the official multimedia network of Bills Mafia.